Presenting Superman. Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman! And now, Superman, eighth wonder of the modern world. Visitor from a distant planet whose strength knows no limits, whose endurance is beyond anything humanity has ever known. We have seen how the child of Jor-El and Lara was placed in the rocket ship and sent on his way to Earth. During the long journey of the rocket ship to the Earth, the child has become a man. The rocket landed in a desert. Superman stepped forth full grown to explore this strange new world in which he found himself.
Miss Smith, it'll be the biggest story since Lindbergh. And me short-handed. Oh, what's the use?
Yes, sir. About that man.
Oh, send him in. Send him in.
Yes, sir. Come in, Mr. Kent. Mr. White will see you now.
Thanks.
You want to see me? Close that door.
Yes, sir. My name is Kent. Clark Kent.
What can I do for you, Mr. Kent?
Well, Mr. White, you can give me work, I hope.
Work? On the paper?
Yes, sir. I'd like to be a reporter.
No, you'd like to be a reporter. What papers have you worked on?
Well, none, sir, but
No, you haven't. But you think you'd be a whiz. Well, I'm afraid I can't use you, Kent.
You mean you haven't any openings?
Not for greenhorns. I'm sorry if I'm blunt.
But, Mr. White, even if I am a greenhorn, suppose I brought you a good story.
And where would you get it? I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me, Mr. Kent.
A really good story?
Such as?
Such as the complete inside on the man called the Wolf on the Western Railroads?
What's that?
You heard me. Do you want that story?
Do I want it? Well, I should say I do. Look here.
I think I could get it for you, Mr. White.
What do you know about the Wolf?
A little bit.
Where did you ever hear his
In
name?
connection with railroads, Mr. White.
Oh, stop beating around the bush. I only heard the beginning of that myself yesterday morning. Not a paper in the country's carried a line, and yet...
And yet I come in here and talk about it. I think I could do something with it, Mr. White.
Now, look here, Kent. Mysterious secret messages have threatened to tie up every railroad in the country.
In the endless reaches of the universe, there once existed a planet known as Krypton, a planet that burned like a green star in the distant heavens. There, civilization was far advanced and had brought forth a race of supermen whose mental and physical powers were developed to the absolute peak of human perfection. But there came a day when giant quakes threatened to destroy Krypton forever. One of the planet's leading scientists, sensing the approach of doom, placed his infant son in a small rocket ship and sent it hurtling in the direction of the Earth just as Krypton exploded. The rocket ship sped through star-studded space, landing safely on Earth with its precious burden, Krypton's sole survivor. A passing motorist found the uninjured child and took it to an orphanage. As the years went by and the child grew to maturity, he found himself possessed of amazing physical powers. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. The infant of Krypton is now the man of steel, Superman. To best be in a position to use his amazing powers in a never-ending battle for truth and justice, Superman has assumed the disguise of Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper.
Kara.
It was only a couple of months ago.
Tell me.
We were helpless. Our army threw everything we had at them, but they were unstoppable. No!
You've seen these before.
A lot of them.
On Krypton?
And Kandor, the capital, the day it disappeared.
A whole city disappeared.
It calls itself Brainiac.
I am flesh and machine.
Even though you've been raised as a human being, you are not one of them.
one thing I do know, son, and that is you are here for a reason.
A good reporter doesn't get great stories, Jimmy.
A good reporter
makes them great.
Lois Lane, say hello to Clark Kent.
Well.
Any more at home like you?
Not really, no.
You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark. Whoever that man is, he's going to change the world.
If the world found out who I really was, they'd reject me. He was convinced that the world wasn't ready. What do you think?